All right, everybody, you know what time it is. It's Freezin for NFC North Podcast, episode 138. 2025 NFC North biggest questions revealed. Lots to get to tonight. Of course, it is Wednesday with the guys, and I am NFLOutdated. You can find me on the Twitter X machine. You can find me on YouTube. You can find us on Freezin 4 Pod, on the TikTok, all that fun stuff. And, welcome back. As always, Miles, where can everyone find you as we get started?
Good evening. Good to be back with y'all. Thanks for having me again, Andy. And you guys can find me Monday nights, 9:30 Central on the Packers Talk Network YouTube channel, streaming live, Pack Weekly Pod. We stream live on Twitter X as well, so you can find us there, at Pack Weekly Pod. Just talking Pack, man, having fun. It's the off season. We've all got a little bit of a desert to get through to get to real football now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of optimism. I mean, obviously, at this time of year, obviously, I always have optimism as well, and Vikings fans also do have optimism. And Dre,
it's good.
You've got optimism. Where can everyone find you as we get started?
You can find me on X right now. That's the only one I'm really on, like kind of on Blue Sky, but mostly on X, just at Coleman Sports.
Definitely like and subscribe there as well. And obviously the division has been Blue Sky everywhere. And seventh letter, where can everyone find you?
Seventh letter 4 on Twitter X, same OG on Instagram and Facebook, on top of the NFC North 2 years in a row. Getting used to it.
Don't get cozy.
Don't get cozy.
Oh,
well, that's the thing, obviously, obviously a lot of that stuff's in the past, right? And so we're going to have some questions. Every team has questions. We've talked about in previous weeks that we're kind of, going to be in prove it mode for a lot of teams. In division wise, we said last year that, one of our teams was going to be in the Super Bowl. Thought it was going to be the case. It wasn't. I don't know, what's going to change this year other than Caleb year 2, ready to dominate, all of that stuff. And, Ben Johnson, really kind of coming in and asserting himself. And seventh letter, you were trying to rain on my parade today. What did you say about the Bears practice?
It was sloppy.
You're talking about practice, sloppy. Man.
It was sloppy, man. It was sloppy. He said, man, he told your tight end, if I see you on another podcast, every podcast you on before the season start, I'm cutting off a finger.
Hey, not sure if I believe that word for word verbatim, but what I like is, hey, we got a coach that's going to preach accountability. He's coming in here. He's going to get these guys in shape, and we're going to be ready to take some names, obviously, week 1. So, but let's get into questions for the entire division. And I want to start with, obviously, the reigning NFC North champions, the Lions. Obviously, you've been there for the last couple of years. There are questions. So I have some here. We've talked about this over and over again. The new coaching staff has something to prove as well. What are some other kind of things that you see as kind of some biggest question marks, this offseason so far?
I just kind of want to see how well our offensive line does, especially on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
The left side is probably going to be, relatively strong, but after losing Zeitler on the right, I want to know if those rookies and those first year players are going to take a step forward. I do want to continue to have a dominant offensive line, and I think that'll still keep us on top of the division, being able to control games and keep leads and things like that. So that's something that I'm interested in. Defensively, I want to see how well Aiton's leg has healed. So, that's important to me.
So I was going to say on the offensive line, so you're most worried about Graham Glasgow then, right?
Yeah. I hope, we drafted a offensive lineman, a guard in the second round, and hopefully, it works out. I'm over Graham Glasgow. I kind of blame him for like that playoff game against Washington. It was kind of crazy how whoever 93 was beating his ass all game. So just he's been serviceable for years. He's a good guy to come off the bench. You know what I mean? He can play center or both guard positions. But I never really thought he was a starter. I never really thought he was a good replacement for I forget his name. He played for y'all now. But yeah.
Jonah Jackson,
yeah, for Rutgers, Ohio State after that. Yeah, no, I thought I that's why we let him walk. You know what I'm saying? Because we had Jonah Jackson when he went to Denver. Then we signed him back. He's friends with, Taylor Decker and Ragnar. So
here's a question that I have. Obviously the Lions have played deep into the postseason, and it's been a while since this has happened. But I think the Packers had played deep into the postseason as well. But is the long season fatigue, is that a real thing, or is that just kind of like because I feel like the Chiefs, they plan long, obviously the Super Bowl for a while. But at some point, it gets tough to repeat or three-peat or whatever, because you got players that are just playing longer than the season, less off season. Is that a big thing, and is that something the Lions have to worry about at all?
It wasn't even that, bro. We was hurt.
That's what I wonder. Yeah,
we got hurt week 5. You know what I'm saying? Like by week 6, we lost our best player. By week, after that, every game somebody was dropping. Like literally every game, every game, all defense. Defense. I think the second game we lost a starting linebacker. Then we lost the backup 2 weeks after that. I think it's the way it was just free. It's just God didn't want me to have it. He didn't want. He knew I wasn't ready yet because I talked too much shit. This year, I am going to be so humble. I am going to be humble. I hope I don't even win a division. You know what I'm saying? I want to be back to where I'm
back in. All right.
I want to just back in. Nobody worried about me. And next thing I know, I'm in it to win it. You know what I mean? That's how I want. I'm not humble enough. And God don't want me that way. He wants me to be humble.
Okay.
Well, Miles is always a humble guy here, so is that a thing with NFL players and NFL teams, just the long season fatigue? Obviously, you play more games. Is that a big thing roster wise? With year to year?
There's some data that was floating around earlier this week. And if it is a thing, I know somebody who is an anomaly on that list, an outlier, if you will, at the top of the list that has gotten outlier? Significantly more benefit than the rest of the league by a long shot. And I'm sure we would all maybe guess that was the Chiefs, right?
Yeah. I love the suspense. You're building us up here. Yeah.
I was thinking either the Chiefs or Tom Brady or somebody.
Not the Chiefs. So and I'm gonna dig for it so that I can make the right credit here. But there was a Twitter account, X account from a San Francisco 49er account, it seemed like. And they posted data about the most net rest days from 2019 through 2025.
Yeah.
And the Detroit Lions had 48 net, positive 48 at the top of the list.
Whoa.
The next team, and I believe it was the Chiefs, had 31. So the Lions had way more net rest than anybody else in the league since 2019.
Really? What does that mean? What is net rest?
So I believe the way that I interpreted it was if you both play on Sunday and then you both play on Sunday next week, that's a net of 0. But if you both play or if the Lions play Sunday and then their next opponent plays Monday, and then y'all both play on Thursday, then you would be positive like 2 or something like that. So and I'm not totally sure, but that was generally how I took it. So we should dig into it a little bit. And I'm trying again to see if I can find, I believe it was like SF Data Niners. Let me see.
7th letter. I guess that's goes
we can find
here we go.
SF Data Niners. So
at
SF Data.
It's not Detroit versus everybody anymore.
Shout out to them.
Bro, we played 4 games in 21 days last year.
So in 20 here, I've got it here. And I don't know how to share this or whatever. But so in this year, in 2025, the Lions have a positive 13 net rest days relative to their opponents. At the very bottom of this list are the Green Bay Packers. So I don't want to hear anything from y'all.
Maybe that's why the refs give the Packers benefit of the doubt on calls.
No. I am not letting him walk away from that.
Which one?
From that.
We will have a good picture though. So like whether this does or doesn't actually impact things, it's kind of maybe remains to be seen. I've never seen this kind of data before, so I really am just kind of having fun with it. But in this season, like I said, the Lions they're leading the list with 13 net rest days compared to their opponents. And then at the bottom of this list this season is going to be the Raiders with negative 19. So if the Raiders are really bad and the Lions are really good, maybe, but that's already kind of where things are headed. So, causation, correlation, all that. But one that's interesting to keep an eye on is the Commanders. The Commanders have negative 13 rest days compared to their opponents this season. So if they end up having a little bit of a slump, that'll be an interesting thing to look at.
That's why I love bringing you on, Miles. You have a lot of nuggets here. And obviously some of them are green turd nuggets, but these are positive. I love your nuggets.
Well, this is one we can all kind of get
into. That is fantastic. You
call them nuggets. Hold up.
Do you have chicken? Do you have tenders or something here?
Hold up. We had that long 10-day rest
tenders
after we played all them games in a row.
Hey man, you guys are getting all that rest. We're over here working, 2 games a week. You guys get like 1 game every 4 days for 4 weeks. I mean, I don't know.
Played on November 24th, November 28th, December 5th. Then if we finally got the 10-day rest, then we had to play. Man, we had so many games close together. That's when that little 4-game span, that's when everybody got hurt, from that Colts game all the way down to that Bills game.
Well, actually, in 2024 is the only season since in these last 5 seasons that the Lions had net negative rest days. You had a net -1 last season. So you weren't used to that. Before that, you guys were getting a lot more rest days compared to your opponents. You come in and get less rest days, you get hurt.
Oh, Lord. This is crazy.
You heard it here first. The Lions.
Hey, it's just numbers, man. I'm just bringing up numbers,
Well, one team that I'm a little worried about with, back-to-back, international games. Obviously, the Vikings. I mean, I'd be interested to see kind of what their days or rest days are or whatever. But that's got to play a factor into it too, kind of with the international games, because everybody, like, players are out of their comfort zone, out of their routines, all that. But kind of on that, Dre, when you kind of look at the Vikings, what are some of the biggest questions that you see? Obviously, the glaring one is, who is JJ McCarthy? But what are some other ones that
he's a new father? That's who he is.
Yeah,
is he really?
Yeah. They just announced what do you call it? His fiance is pregnant. So yeah.
Okay. All right. So he's expecting, just not wins.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
Wow.
Well, at least with I'll say about the overseas games. I mean, one thing, like, we're not losing any home games off of it, which is kind of nice. Which is, I guess, kind of somewhat of an advantage. And then also, like, honestly, one thing also good is that at least for the second one, like they won't be jet lagged as much. Like obviously that happens. Like when it comes to like these players, like jet lag is existent. Yeah, it takes a day or two, but it's gonna happen. That second one, like I mean, they'll be relatively rested up for that game. So I think that's a good thing. I don't really have much of a thought, I guess, on like Dublin or London, like which one's really better or worse. I think it's obviously they're teams that aren't really, they're not divisional anyway, so it's kind of just hopefully they'll just be wins, especially with the Steelers kind of not really being at the top of their game right now, and they're clearly trying to hold their cards close to their chest on things, but most likely unofficially going for Arch Manning next year. So and then Cleveland, who knows what they're doing. So I don't even know if they know what they're doing.
That's fair right there. But I mean, obviously, and I didn't know this. I'm kind of excited now. Obviously, Brian Flores, his defense has kind of had some dominance or whatever, but I didn't realize that Brian Flores actually fired Ben Johnson when he was in Miami. He fired Ben Johnson.
That's why he kicks his ass every time.
Mm-hmm. Ben Johnson, he's got receipts. So when I found that out, that got me a little bit more excited for what he's going to, do. Obviously, Brian Flores is going to be a big part of the Vikings, whether they're good or bad, or maybe even like when you look at, the schedule, obviously in 2024, the Vikings started fast. I don't think they're going to start fast this year. I just think it's going to be, it's a tough schedule. So.
You know what makes them tough? Like the Vikings will always be tough because they got offense. Like they got weapons. So with those weapons that get all wiggly on you, man, like they can put up points. And the defense gets takeaways. Now they're not stopping nobody, but they'll take the ball from you. And if you're not a good team, they can blow you out. You know what I'm saying? If you keep giving them the ball back. So that's why they'll always be tough. I don't know if they'll be, or even myself will be 14-3 or 15-2 this year, but they'll always be tough. They actually got one of the best players in the world on their team. So they'll always kind of be tough. So don't rule them out.
He's being humble already.
I don't know if you're like trying to speak the opposite into existence, but tell me about
last year. I said it last year before the season when everybody said they was going. I'm like, nah, they got some little pieces. You know what I'm saying? That's going. I didn't say 14-3, but I didn't think they were going to be the worst team in the NFL like y'all was. I'll let y'all bully me in this.
I didn't think they were going to be the worst in the NFL. I definitely thought fourth in the division, but fair enough. I don't know. I like those first 3 weeks for the Vikings. I feel like you're going to really figure out who you are pretty quick. Those are, being at Soldier Field, you get a little bit of a warm-up week. It's not too tough. And then, Atlanta is pretty tough, but you get them at home, so you're going to test yourself a little bit. And then, the Bengals are kind of a wild card. They're kind of the same in that same, category, what you just described, seventh letter. You got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins, you got Joe Burrow, and you got some pieces on defense, but Trey Henderson's not happy. Who knows where he's going to be. That's going to be
Chicago.
An interesting little 3-game stretch there before you guys go overseas, and I think you'll learn a lot about the Vikings in the first 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what you look at. Obviously, where I'm going in week 1, but when you look at quarterbacks, who has the advantage? The Bears or the Vikings in week 1? Bears. All right.
You got a year 2 starter versus a year 1 starter. That's no question.
All right, Dre, what about week 2? Who has the advantage, the Falcons or the Vikings?
Given that, like our starters saying, one has a national championship quarterback, the other one was the losing one in that same matchup. So
Oh, there you go. I forgot about that. That's an interesting matchup there. Atlanta may be a little bit better, but you look at the first 3 games and I mean, I don't know.
I think Cincy's like Miles was saying. I think that's going to be the hardest of the 3. Like at least on paper, I think like offensively they have like a lot of great weapons, but they took a while to get Jamar Chase going like last year. So like I mean, I know in fantasy there were plenty of people. A friend of mine who was wanting to get rid of Jamar Chase, like I think in the first few weeks. But then obviously he didn't, and then he ended up like blowing up. So like I mean, who knows? And obviously I don't hope for injuries, but like that can always happen. Burrow has he's had injury issues too, so it's kind of who knows what's going to happen. And yeah, I don't know. They're kind of who knows what's going to really go down. They obviously have the skill, so. And obviously watching Jamar Chase, like even though like I still think Jefferson is better, but it's like a 1A 1B type of thing. So it'll be a fun matchup either way.
I mean, shout out to Rhino from Vikings Uncensored podcast. He does a lot of his on Friday nights, I believe, and him and his co-hosts were actually going through this, and I think they were like 5-0 over the first 5, and it's just, I mean, we have to have optimism, but I mean, when you look at JJ, I think that's probably going to be the hardest thing for JJ is that, you know, he is essentially a rookie quarterback going in week 1 at Chicago with a hungry football team that's going to have their coach is going to have them, ready to go. I don't know. That's what I would worry about him kind of overall, just kind of it's a tougher start, in my opinion, to start a career.
I think but the one advantage that he does have, it says it's not like he was like a rookie and then like completely or even any rookie going into a system like this new, like wherever they're drafted, it's a new system that they're learning. JJ McCarthy's been there an entire year. It's not like he wasn't there. He was.
Good point.
There's been plenty of other players saying that he was like in the rooms, he was in like at practices and stuff. Even though he wasn't like actively playing, he was still there. So it's a system that he's been like working with, and KOC's been obviously communicating with him. They've been working together. So I think like they think that it's obviously he's not like a starter, like in the traditional sense. Like he's not obviously like a Joe Burrow type of thing or a Jared Goff. Like he's not that right now, but he's not just a rookie. Like he's not like what Caleb Williams was coming into the Bears last year. He's not that just because he's been there and he's been seeing how the system works. And like obviously he's learning the plays. He didn't like just decide, oh, I'm not going to read the playbook. Just I'm not playing, so why do I need to do this? No, he's been learning stuff. So I think like that gives him a little bit more advantage than a typical rookie. But yeah, like you said, he does have some who knows what's going to happen type of ideas.
Well, let's say like kind of looking forward and okay, say the Vikings are a playoff team. I'm going to start with you, Miles. What would, in general, then JJ McCarthy's stat line have to be for the Vikings for them to be a playoff team?
I mean, I'll be a little bit general about it. I think he's got to have like a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. If you're throwing 30 touchdowns, you shouldn't have more than 15 interceptions. You probably need to be completing north of 65% of your passes. Yeah, I won't, yardage, I won't say matters as much because it really just depends on how he drives the offense. I'm actually really interested to see how this plays out because we don't have a whole lot of cases of, all right, the QB gets to hang out for a year, learn the system, really, the lower relative pressure for a quarterback situation that he has. versus, again, what we usually see is these high overdrafted guys, top of the draft, and then all the pressure's on them, all the expectations are on them. To your point, they're coming in as rookies, learning the system on the fly with it's just all of it. And JJ's had almost the opposite of that. Now, because of injury, sure, but he did get to sit behind a pro in Darnold, see how he does it, see how he works it, see how the team operates in adversity, things like that, learn the system. So there's a lot less of a learning curve that he's approaching right now in year one as a starter than he normally would. And really, the only good examples we have of that are pretty good examples, right? You got Aaron Rodgers, you've got Pat Mahomes, you've got Jordan Love. He's in good company for, being a high drafted quarterback and having a chance to sit and soak it up. So like I've said before, I'm not a downer on JJ McCarthy. I really do think that he could turn out to be a good quarterback. I'm not going to say he will, but I think he could. He's got Justin Jefferson, man. I mean, that's the other side of this thing. It's like that dude will make anybody better. Anybody. Like that dude is all world, and that's a huge thing for McCarthy. That's a big lift up for him.
Seventh letter, what do you think? Like if JJ has maybe 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, kind of that 2-1, what Miles was thinking. I mean, does that mean the Vikings are in the playoffs?
I think JJ McCarthy has to have kind of like a big year, to be honest, because that's their strength on offense is their receivers. They got a pass catching Hawkinson. They got the best receiver in the world. Addison's going to come back. They drafted a wide receiver. One of their higher draft picks was a receiver. You know what I mean? Like, that's how they move the ball. I mean, they got some running back. They don't have nothing truly special on the ground to really scare anybody. So JJ McCarthy is going to have like 20, 28 to 30 touchdowns, 25 to 30 touchdowns for them to be in the playoffs, period. Because that's their strength. That's their offense. And I think they can. You got a talented enough coach to make things happen offensively. The freaking Knicks just let the Pacers back into the game. It's in overtime.
I saw that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Knicks are up a little bit. Yeah, I see that in the background as well.
Hey, while we're sidebarring, Dallas just won. Go Stars.
Oh, did they beat the
Oilers?
Oilers were up big.
Won 6-3 over. They were up 3-1. Edmonton was up 3-1, and Dallas came back in the third period and won 6-3.
Look at that. So, we're not just an NFC North podcast.
Yeah, a little extra
sports here.
I'm still in a green corner here.
That's true. So, what about you then, Dre? So, like, are you really kind of looking for stat wise, and maybe to, gauge whether you think it's going to be a successful season for JJ McCarthy at all?
I mean, I think obviously success is all just depending on how the games go out. I think I would love obviously him to do really well. I think, yes, I don't know. Like Miles said, Jefferson is gonna make McCarthy look good enough. I think that is I think that's the biggest thing, because you look at just who he's had to work with, and he's made them all look good. We'll see if anything coming this year and with Darnold, how much of it was Jefferson versus anyone else, or what happens in Seattle, because they don't have a Jefferson type player. So we'll see what happens there to actually see that. And I think, I don't know. I feel McCarthy has a lot of upside. I think that's a lot of things. I will say from the running game perspective, I slightly disagree. In that Mason, again, it's all on paper stuff. I think Mason was a really good pickup. That can work really well as a 1-2 running back with Jones. I think that's going to be a decent, workhorse, because he showed that he could play decently when he had to come in from McCaffrey last year. So I think there's a lot of great things, and I don't think I would love to say that I would want to be like full on and just say, oh, he's going to have a great season. But again, like I thought, I didn't say it here, but like one of the things that I always told everyone is like last year with Darnold, if we had 8 wins, I'd be happy. I think that's successful. So I think like with this year, kind of all along the same lines. I want more, obviously. I want them to go on and win a Super Bowl like any of us does with our respective teams, you know. But if we have a winning season, I'll be happy. Like I think like, yeah, as long as it's enjoyable.
So I will say this, you know, and obviously this, you know, I'm all in on Caleb, but what Kwesi has done and what the Vikings have done for J.J. McCarthy in his first official year now, I think, is have that offensive line, because you have to be upright. You have to have a clean pocket, you know, obviously to, you know, just be able to see your reads and all that. And obviously, especially your young quarterback and be able to develop. So that is a positive, I think, for the Vikings, you know, as we kind of go into this year. Love this. Thanks for the Giants guys coming on. Vikings biggest question: what happens if JJ stinks? So that's the, you know what I mean? That's kind of the outlier. That's why I say maybe if he does stink, it's going to be a 5-win.
Question for any rookie quarterback, though. Like any high drafted pick, like that's a question. Like that's, it's a worry and everything, but like, I mean, we picked up Sam Howell. What if who stinks?
What if Jackson Dart stinks? It's a.
That's gonna be a real media fire if that happens.
If Jackson Dart does.
Oh my god.
Well, let's get into quarterbacks. Obviously, with the Packers, the questions on the Packers, you know,
Sam Howell is a decent backup. Just to answer the next guy's point, like Sam Howell can be a decent backup.
Fair enough.
Let's see, Giants. Also, we are used to bad QBs. Boom! Hey, the Giants have Russell Wilson. Let's ride. They got Justin.
What a weird
Russell
quarterback
Wilson.
room that is.
That is.
Good.
You know what?
They got the biggest, like, I guess, mouth out of like anyone there too, like with Jameis and everything. So I think that can work. He can hype everybody up.
Absolutely.
Obviously, we're NFC North Podcast, but love talking Giants and stuff like that. And I think I did see that the NFC East is on the in-season Hard Knocks. So that's going to be must-see
it's a
TV.
Conference thing now? Or I mean a division thing now?
In-season they do, conference. Yeah. So tell you what, that's going to be must-see TV with the Giants quarterback room. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to get my popcorn out for that. This doesn't mean anything. See, I mean,
there too.
We did talk about the big KOC and how well he does with quarterbacks. I know 7th letter, that's your favorite line. Joe Shane can embarrass himself all over again. So look at this.
Salty because they paid $80 million to a quarterback who ended up being off their roster at the end of the year, and they lost to a Super Bowl winning running back that they should have paid.
Yeah, they definitely
went
the wrong way on those moves.
The Giants weren't winning the Super Bowl regardless. So but speaking of quarterback that got paid a bunch of money that there's still a question mark about, and we'll talk about Packers' biggest offseason questions. You know me, who is Jordan Love? And obviously, we've talked about him being injured, things like that. But I think this is a really important year for Jordan Love. I mean, he has to really kind of show that he can be the guy. He's got the talent. I actually had a Packer fan friend of mine send me a mashup to the Thunder tune, of all of Jordan Love's throws from an open or clean pocket, and they were all misses, and it was glorious. Okay. It was absolutely glorious. So who is Jordan Love, Miles?
He is the leader of this Packers team.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
Leader of men, young men still.
Leader of men. Do you know who else is a leader of men?
There's been a lot of leaders of men. Not all of them. Some of them have lived long enough to become the villains, and we know that. But that's okay.
So every previous Bears head coach was a leader of men, just not a leader of winning men. We'll just say that.
Yeah.
That
is a very big difference.
The only back in Miles' lifetime that wasn't a weirdo. Did you see the Brett Favre documentary? Did you see that one?
I don't even want to watch it. Listen. Yeah. I know who Brett Favre is. He's not a role model. He's a jeans model. All right, so we're just let him be that.
We can't take you seriously, Miles, in those glasses. Come on.
Hey, the future's bright, man. I gotta be able to see. We're talking about Jordan Love here, after all. We're not talking about 1, not 2, not 3. We got 4+ Super Bowls coming. You guys just strap in. Jordan Love, man. Hey, listen, I'll agree with you that this is an important season for him. The last 2 seasons, I will say, fair enough, developmental. You brought up injuries last year. Looking at the legacy of Packers quarterbacks, you have to be able to play through injuries. So I think that was an important step for him to go through last year. He's going to get injured again, and he tried to play through it last year. I thought, he did an okay job, but I think that's something he's got to learn how to deal with. So to see him do it the way he did last year, I thought was encouraging. But he seems to be embracing his role as a leader. So that's why I say that he says all the right things in the offseason. You see him out there working with the guys. Wait a second. Between that statement and those.
Oh,
What is he trying to see if I'm a snitch or what? Anyway, no, I think that it's a very important season for him to put up or shut up, because now there's really no excuses. They added not only 1 but 2 receivers. I mean, the receiver, the whole does he have weapons conversation is dead and buried. I don't ever want to hear that ever again. And I'm sure Darren Rodgers is pissed somewhere, but he's got the weapons. You got a room full of tight ends, a room full of running backs, a room full of receivers. The O-line was good and now is even maybe better, but also definitely deeper, certainly deeper. And that was really the problem against Philly. You get a couple of injuries and all of a sudden you got turnstiles out there playing O-line. So that, I think, all of those boxes are checked. It's like, dude, there's no excuses. You got, consistency with your coordinator, your just offensive system and leadership. All of it's consistent. It's set up. So it is a very much put up or shut up year for Jordan Love, and I think he will put up. I do think that now it's that time. The expectations have to be as high as they get. There's no reason they shouldn't be.
I love this. Packers aren't happy until they have every number 3 wide receiver in the NFL.
Hey, I mean, we're just collecting them, but the 2 they took this year, man, Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, I'm excited about. Those are the type of guys that, I don't know, me growing up, my childhood self Packer fan feels like we never got those guys. We never got the fastest guy or this big guy or, So I'm very excited about the pieces that are in that room. So a wide variety of skills.
Well, and obviously you're going to need, I think, a lot of the players. When you look at that schedule, right? I mean, presumably everyone, and obviously we kind of did this with Houston last year. The previous year they went to playoffs. And Stroud did well, so they kind of assumed, that he'd be great. I believe they still went to the playoffs, correct? 2 years in a row, Houston did, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they
did.
So Houston kind of maintained it. I think in spite of him at times, with kind of everything else they had, Washington's going to be tough. But I mean, if Green Bay goes 0-2, living in Wisconsin, I'm just going to love all the chatter. But I mean, if Green Bay starts slow or doesn't have a winning record this season, is LaFleur on the hot seat? I mean, like, are you worried at all about his job security?
No, but What I will say is it's not an impossible situation. You know, like there's definitely a scenario where you're like, hey, man, what is going on? There was a time there where Joe Barry was the defensive coordinator, and that was when I was like, look, you either got to make a correction as a leader should, or you're going to go down with this ship. And he did. He made the move he needed to make. And it was interesting in an interview. He even admitted how difficult that was this offseason. He did a podcast. It might have been the Bussin' with the Boys, but he's done a couple of them where he admitted that was a difficult move for him to make because he's so close with Joe Barry. And so if there's something going on and it's the leader's, responsibility to fix it, and he's not, I think that's the scenario where it's like, hey, okay, are you not going to do your job? Then if you're not going to do your job, then yeah, the seat's going to get hot. I don't foresee anything leading to that right now. The Joe Barry situation was very obvious. We already knew that was getting bad whenever it was happening. Right now, I mean, Hafley's doing great. They're still happy with Stinovich at offensive coordinator. There's just not a whole lot of turbulence internally that I think could lead to him being on a hot seat. If they start 0-2, is that good? No, but I would also, say context matters. How does it happen? Stuff like that. Stuff happens. And I'm old enough to remember RELAX, right? It's a long season. It can start kind of rough sometimes. There were several New England Patriots teams that started 1-2 or whatever, and then they went off and did what they did and won championships. So I don't think you can't overreact early in the season, but I would say that the leash is shorter than it has been. You go 0-3, you lose to Cleveland, you probably got problems. But again, context matters. How did you get to 0-3? That I don't want to jinx anything. I don't see them getting to 0-3. That would be shocking to me.
Well, that's fair. I mean, the Bears, I don't think had ever fired their coach in mid-season, but the way it happened, it had to be done. We're like, right. Those losses, it was just ridiculous with the, coaches' decisions and toward the end of the game. So that's what I wonder. Like offensively, LaFleur is kind of supposed to be this offensive guru. He's connected with Jordan Love. If you look at okay, so let's scenario the Packers are going to be in the playoffs. What does Jordan Love's stat line have to look like for the Packers to be in the playoffs in 2025?
Again, the have to thing, I'm kind of, I'm a little bit, I don't know. I don't know about have to, but what I would expect, what I would think it would be, should be, you're going to start with my expectation for him is more than the 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio. I think he's already demonstrated he can do pretty well. It's not as good as Aaron Rodgers, but his is pretty good so far. I'd like to see something like, 30 plus touchdowns and less than 10 interceptions or 10 or less.
Okay. So in 2023, his best year so far, obviously 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. So, right. And last year, 25 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Obviously he didn't play, he only played 15 games.
Yeah.
It
needs to be better than that. It doesn't need to be dramatically better, but you don't go the other way. You're not going the other way and throwing more interceptions and less touchdowns or whatever. That ratio is not getting worse.
Are you hearing at all on any chatter about like helping his footwork or like the falling back and throwing any of that stuff? Because like I don't know. I mean, that has to affect your quarterback's accuracy.
Well, I try to listen to LaFleur as much as I can because he does get out there and talk a little bit. I think he's got an interview with Kay Adams he just did. I haven't caught that one yet, but he doesn't talk as much about those types of things, those mechanics with Jordan Love as much as he does the mental side of the game. And the general thing that I took away from his interview this offseason that I listened to most recently, again, I think it was Bussin' with the Boys, was that he's looking for Jordan Love to start becoming sort of that chess player on the field, right? Like Love went from learning the system to now sort of advancing the system, and LaFleur is trying to figure out what the best way is for him to do that. And that takes time. All these quarterbacks go through that, and then they get to that chess player level. So not all of them, but some of them do, like the Mahomes and the Allens and all that. I would argue Baker Mayfield is at that point. But yeah, I think that's the next step that they're looking for him to take is that, and it needs to be responsible decision making. That's why I bring up the touchdown to interception ratio. It's not necessarily you got to throw a number of touchdowns. It's just that, to me, demonstrates the good decision making the best, and in combination with completion percentage. But the other thing is he had the most drops from his receivers last year. So it's stuff like that matters. I don't think that'll be the case again. And you can look at receivers. They kind of do go up and down with drops by season. Some are higher, some are lower. But that matters too, and you go off and you correct some of those drops that he had last season. That's a different season. Obviously, shoulda, woulda, coulda, all that. I'm not trying to play that game. But it's not, I don't think he has to make massive physical or mechanical improvements. I think it's more of just a rhythm of the game type of thing, right? Get a little bit better at reading defenses, get a little bit better at anticipating windows for your receivers, get a little bit better at understanding how your offensive line protections are set up and how you can manipulate those things. Those are the improvements he's making, and those are marginal things that take time.
Speaking of non-marginal things, I think he needs to have maybe an off the field kind of just activity. Maybe the shrooms or stealing taxpayer funds. Has to do something.
Send that unsolicited joint shot. Brett Favre crazy, yo. Yo.
Oh man. I mean, yeah, he was crazy. He was crazy pretty much through his whole life, man. That guy was nuts.
Yo.
I think it's obviously it's a different time now. Players are a little bit more like careful on their image. I wonder too, like I feel like with Jordan Love, he's almost been too careful with his image. Like he hasn't really
he has to be.
Yeah.
I love it.
Every year I ask MLF is on the hot seat. Yes, I do. Well, I mean, it's a question.
Shout out Rev. Go Pack, go.
It is a question when you kind of look at, the Packers always have expectations. All of the pundits will say, the Packers are going to be, this or that. Oh, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. And so there's expectations. And like I say, it's not Title Town anymore. It is Choke Town. It really is. So
you will be unemployed for 15 minutes.
Ooh.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Mentor Deshaun Watson and Justin Tucker.
Shots fired.
Wow.
Shots
we are
fired.
digressing.
What he did way worse than what they did.
Yeah.
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 Well, let's go to the future champs of the division. When we look at the Bears, obviously the biggest questions for the Bears, obviously Caleb year 2 growth, and the Ben Johnson effect. And I love that, he's really kind of coming in, and obviously the elephant in the room that came out, the whole book about, how Caleb was trying to get away from the Bears, was trying to not be drafted, go to the CFL, all that. Obviously everybody's been in my DMs and tagging me on stuff this week, but hey, that doesn't bother me. That just shows how far we've come in a year. And so, I mean, I'm gonna let you guys kind of quote on, or comment on those things. So, I mean, I'm not bothered by the book stuff, what about you guys?
Oh, I love it. It's trolling material, man. Are you kidding me? He
Yeah,
wanted
for
to
sure.
go to the UFL instead of play for the Bears? Come on, man. That's tragic for your organization. That is absolutely
now if we were still there at that point, but we're not.
So my biggest question is, because I could have plenty of fun with this, but it doesn't matter because that was a year ago. Like, where is it now? Is he okay? Like, is he all right now? Everything's good?
Everything is kosher right now. It's fantastic. You know what Ben Johnson said that I love Ben Johnson's quote. He doesn't know what happened prior, but right now he's been basically an exemplary, teammate and player, and just soaking everything up. And it helps when you have a coach that's going to, obviously take the reins and really then be offensively smart, right? And then also just organizationally smart. We have not had that,
but how does that keep happening though, man? Because this sounds like exactly what was said after what was his name, the one from the Chiefs,
and Matt Nagy. Yes,
Nagy. Yep. This is like verbatim what y'all said after Nagy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think obviously I don't want to speak ill of the departed, but I think a lot of it comes from Virginia McCaskey and just how it was run, family oriented,
okay,
and just not football orientated, which is now I think we're there, or at least we're getting there. And just the Ben Johnson effect, just as a leader and what he's doing, accountability, telling players that they every player says they want to be successful, and now he is holding their feet to the fire on doing that. And obviously I think we're going to see dividends right away, week 1, especially versus those Vikings.
Okay. Well, I mean, we're going to see. I don't doubt Ben Johnson at this point, and I know Seventh Letter's got some of his takes on Big Ben Johnson. I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But I'm sitting here asking myself, how is this any different from any of the last 10 years of the Bears, man? It's just been
so
deja vu over and over and over.
And
again.
that's
and
absolutely,
I hear you.
Absolutely a fair question. So in his rookie year, Caleb Johnson, 62.5% completion percentage, 3,541 yards.
Caleb, his coach's last name and everything, man. You are all way in, huh?
Here we go. 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions with a broken coaching staff. Oh, hey, Caleb is with us. There. I love that. Yes. Yeah, he was exhausted. It was a broken coaching staff. And now we have a real NFL coaching staff. And for the Bears to be in the playoffs, I know you all are laughing at me saying the Bears in the playoffs. I think it is doable this year with that 11 wins that I had predicted. I do think the Bears are in the playoffs. Caleb will have his 4,100 yards passing and 32 touchdowns to match Jordan Love's. And I think he's going to probably have a few more interceptions because I think he's going to take a few more chances this year. So I think he'll probably have those 11 to 12 interceptions. But he is going to be up there in yards. He's going to be the first Bears quarterback to have 4,000 yards. We're going to actually probably
ever
probably by week
historic season.
Probably by week 12, we'll have the statue all built and ready for him. Tell you what, I mean, if the Bears are in the playoffs this year, we'll just say the Bears are going to be in the playoffs this year. We'll just say Bears are going to be in the playoffs in 2025. Sure. And Caleb is going to take that step forward. The couple things I'm worried about, obviously, running back depth. Will we sign Chubb possibly after June 1st? That's a possibility. Will we get another pass rush? I've heard that DJ Wanham might be an option for the Bears. Obviously, it's floating around whether you're going to trade for Trey Hendrickson. I don't know if we're going to have enough for him because he's going to want a big contract, 31. But I think we're going to sign somebody to help. I don't know if we do Jadeveon Clowney. That might be an option, but I think we're going to sign somebody that'll help that. Obviously we need to continue to grow defensively. I really love what Dennis Allen's going to bring this defense as well. So we're going to have an edge to us on offense, defense, and I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. And I'm here for it. Especially in week 1.
You better.
I'm ready for it.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I can't totally dog on you. You guys won 9 games last season, right? Was it 9 or 8?
No.
5.
No, excuse me. You could have won.
There you go.
Right?
Okay.
Is that what it was?
That was a good setup. That was actually a pretty good setup for a troll there. I was going to give you props for that one. So.
I was hoping you'd take it. Yeah, we should have won those. No,
Now,
I
the
mean,
previous
y'all,
year we should have won more.
yes, the Bears were definitely, it's a game of
Mhm.
inches, and considering what was going on behind the scenes with not watching film with the quarterback and all that, it's
Mhm.
impressive. Like, there's definitely talent on the Bears to accomplish something with a dysfunctional coaching staff. The question is, do you have a functional coaching staff? Like, you have a new coaching staff, but do they put it together? And I'm looking at seventh letter, man. He feels a certain way about Ben Johnson. Can he lead that team?
Fuck Ben Johnson.
We have, all right, I'm going to give you here. We have the greatest coaching staff ever assembled.
Man, you had Mike Dicker and Rex Ryan and them father before, man. What is you talking about? And they won.
Top to bottom, look at all the coaches. The Bears in 2025 have the best coaching staff of all time.
Hey, yo, man, he is ridiculous.
It's coming. It's coming. We'll just kind of look at all these players down the line are going to have head coaching opportunities.
Oh, bro.
I'm just saying.
Get a second drug test.
I swear, yo.
It's coming.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Buddy Ryan, man. As a defensive coordinator, man.
Fantastic. But how was he as a head coach? All right. I think Antoine Randall is going to be a head coach.
He was a head coach for the Eagles. It was all right.
Bears coaching staff.
Bears with Caleb won 5 games. The last year with Fields won 7. Yes. I do wish Fields the best, but he's not Caleb. We had Vince Lombardi as okay. But how well did the Giants do?
That made the Giants.
I mean, that's a pretty. I guess that's a pretty
one
good
of
head
those
coaching
teams.
staff.
They peak in sometimes, win a Super Bowl, and be ass the next year, and then come back in the next couple, 86, 91. Like, what was the other year they had? What was it? 08 or something, 09, then came back 2 years later. Like,
we're talking about the Giants, right?
Yeah. Like, Dart will be a good quarterback. Like, nobody wants him. He just wins big games, like Phil Simms and
I don't know. I'm not in on Dart. I mean, I saw Dart at Ole Miss, and he was just kind of like throwing it up for, I think it was in the bowl game. He was just kind of throwing it up for anybody to catch. And I get his number one wide receiver.
So he's Jameis Winston.
He might be. Jackson Dart. Listen. Oh my gosh. You know how I feel like Jordan Love has become a mashup of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, right?
Maybe.
Kind of throwing off the back.
It's there.
Maybe.
What is Jackson Dart going to look like? A mashup of Russell Wilson and Jameis
Maybe
Winston?
that would actually work, though.
That'd be entertaining.
Just like two wild things come together and like balance each other out.
Yeah. He has the right mentor then. Well, maybe.
All right. So I will give you this. The Bears have a good coaching staff.
I love it.
But
Not the best ever.
Man, where is that coming from?
I am prognosticating. I am looking forward. Just everybody. We got Eric freaking Bieniemy.
Yeah, but I mean, he's kind of got a fall from grace here, man. He's playing running backs coach at this point. He was the offensive coordinator for one of the best offensive units.
He should have had a head coaching job. He didn't.
Yeah, like if this guy was,
top
capable,
to bottom,
shouldn't be a running backs coach right now.
Well, top to bottom, you look at all these coaches. I'm telling you, this is.
I'm not happy that you have Al Harris. I'm just going to say that hurts me a little bit. That hurts me that he did that.
You're bringing up all these names. I don't even know.
And I don't know how Chicago got a guy with the last name Giordano. Now I'm like looking into simulation theory here.
So on the Chicago radio today, Ben Johnson was talking about how the players are being helped with it's one of their coaches, and one of the coaches, his last name is Picasso. So we're talking about we even have Picasso on our on our coaching staff. So I'm telling you, best
But
coaching
it's like
staff ever.
off-brand Picasso. You know what I mean? It's like that Great Value brand Picasso. That's not the real
Take
Picasso.
the Great Value brand. I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Bears coaching staff this year. And I think, with the Lions, I don't even know who we have, right?
You didn't know who we had before.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So they showed improve. Yeah, that's all it is. It's the players, yo. It's the mentality. It's the culture.
I give Dan Campbell a lot of credit for the culture and the philosophy there. That he's just that dude. Yeah. Not to take anything away from Ben Johnson, because clearly he's good. But when it comes to that, like what's going on there in Detroit, that full turnaround that you guys have done, that's not Ben Johnson. He was part of that, but he's not responsible for it. That's Dan Campbell.
Ben Johnson came from the Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
No. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, he obviously took it his own route, and I tell you, we're gonna have 2 statues by the time we build our new facility, and it sounds like it is going to be in the Arlington Heights area. We're kind of focusing on that. Tell you what, we're gonna have a Caleb one, and we're gonna have a Ben Johnson. We're gonna have 2 statues, right out front. Actually probably next to Sweetness and Hallis. But I'm telling you, we get our statues ready. Get them ready after year 1.
Okay.
All right, man.
All right.
There we go.
Okay. All right. It's time to go to bed, guys.
It is. All right. It's been a fun night.
Working covers over this guy, man.
Where can everyone find you, Dre, as we close out?
You can hit me up on X. It's Goldman Sports.
It's Goldman Sports, and you got to be beating the drum for Big KOC. Come on.
Yeah, I am. I think that there's a lot that they have to bring to the table. I think he's a good coach. It's shown. And I will say this, here's me to say, if anything, the Packers and the Vikings, I think, have the more consistent coaching out of everyone here. And I think that does matter a lot. And I
agree with you.
And I say that in the sense of, obviously, Campbell is obviously there with the Lions, but he did lose offensive and defensive coaching.
True.
That's all I'm saying. Sure. Campbell does have some aspects, though. I think it's going to show a lot this year how much of the coaching was him versus his coordinators, but we'll see.
Great points there. Great points. Definitely like and subscribe all of your stuff as well. And Miles, always glad to have you and your bright colored sunglasses on as well. Where can everyone find you as we close out?
Hey, let's go. You guys can find me on the Pack Weekly Pod, Monday night, 9:30 Central, streaming live. Check us out at the Packers Talk Network YouTube channel. Go subscribe. We're talking Pack. Come hang out.
Definitely like and subscribe, all of that stuff. Get all your Packer news there. And obviously, a shout out to our guy, RevTrev, as well. We have a lot of great Packer content that guests on here. So I definitely appreciate all of that. And obviously, you can find me on NFL Outdated on the Twitter X, on YouTube, and find us on Freezin #4 Pod on the TikTok. And last but not least, where can everyone find you, Seventh Letter?
You can find me. Let's go. 7th Letter 4 on Twitter X. Same OG on Instagram and Facebook. Top of the NFC North. John Morton used to be a coach on the Detroit Lions 2 seasons ago. He went to Denver when homeboy went over there, but he's back in Detroit where he belongs. And we just, elevated the linebackers coach to our defensive coordinator. So, yeah, they new coaches, but they know the system. So we'll be kicking y'all ass another season.
We get to find out in week 1, sir.
We will. Yeah. Get to find week 1. Can't wait.
I love the week 1 division matches. I think that's going to be fantastic. So
remember when the Packers beat your ass that time?
Oh, beautiful.
Sick
now,
as a dog. Yeah.
Now we have the best coaching staff ever for week 1. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that to the bank. I'm going to go cash that check. And definitely check on all of the Vikings fans after week 1 because it's going to be over.
Okay.
For the big KOC. All right. Thanks for everyone for commenting, following, and thanks to everyone for joining us. We will catch you again next week. Have a good night, everyone.
Hey, go Pack, go.
Night, y'all.
Have a good night, fellas.